Shoot. When we're first starting off, I just want to say, shoot, great fight. Great fight for boxing. First, it was a lot of action with skill. Even the commentators, they even commented on it where Castano, he wasn't just rushing in pressure, being a basic pressure fighter. He came in, tactically. Got caught a couple times. With counter left hooks and stuff like that. But Castano did a real good job of smart pressure and stuff like that. But the fight, it was a really good fight. Interesting. I think people can't be too mad at the draw. Where I think a lot of people, including myself, I would have gave it to Castano, but Charlo, he won some later rounds where it's not a highway robbery. Calling it a draw, but most people agree that Charlo lost and Castano did enough to win.
What about like a rematch? Would you want to see that?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like that's what I said. Like as a fan, hell yeah. It was boxing. It was a technical fight and a brawl all in the same fight. So you had everything. Especially someone like me where I get bored in a lot of fights. So you know, even some brawls, I don't even like to see some brawls like people changes the pace of the action. Showing jazz, moving and banging, doing a lot of different stuff where you had it all that fight. Where I definitely like to watch it
I
again.
thought it was a good fight, very good fight. But here's the issue. So many people are expecting Charlo to just blast through this kid. This kid was the only other champion in the division. Good fighter.
What surprised you about the fight? Anything? I mean,
This kid showed how durable he was, but a lot of people missed something in this fight. Charlo was weight drained for that fight, and he hasn't said anything about it. He probably won't. But if you saw him the day of the weigh-in, he was emaciated. He was gaunt, and I knew when I saw that it was going to be a tough road to hoe.
what tells you about that as a fighter that he was wagering?
His eyes kind of sank back in his head. There's the way his skin looked chalky. Those are things that, from someone who went through it, I know what it looks like. You were there when I remember when you came to see me fight Matt Zegan, and I was still taking weight off right before the weigh-in, but I was eating and drinking up until an hour before the weigh-in. I can guarantee you Jermell wasn't doing that.
What about a rematch? Do you think each guy will come the same? Will it be different?
Jermell would have to come different. It has to be a rematch. And the reason is this was for the undisputed championship of the world. He's basically painted into a corner as far as the fight as the fans are concerned. If he doesn't come back and fight, even if he loses, he'll never be able to live this down.
I honestly think it might have been the fight of the year. I think it ranks right up there with that. I think that whoever that Vasquez judges, he needs to be definitely suspended. Definitely not only suspended, but I think that they need to do a thorough investigation on how he got 117, 111. But I also think that it I was telling a lot of people didn't believe me because a lot of people thought Charlo was going to blow through him. And I was like, listen to me. Hear me out when I tell you this. Castano can fight. And I was like, you got to, I was like, he's going to give Charlo everything he has. Charlo, you want Charlo to win, but you don't know if he's actually going to go on ahead and win this one. So that's honestly how I felt about that.
What did anything stand out in the fight, like as far as Castano's aggression or Charlo? He had great poise and came back late for a late rally. I mean, did you pick a winner? Like, did you feel a certain guy won? I mean, or was the draw fair?
I think I think that the pressure, someone that can take Charlo's punch is going to fare very well against Charlo. Because Charlo is like the Tim Duncan of him and Mikey Garcia. They're like the Tim Duncans of boxing. But Mikey Garcia's better in the sense of they don't do anything special, but they do it all right. You get what I'm saying? And the thing is, when it came with Charlo, when you started to take his punch, now all of a sudden you're only catching him with a 1-2 or a jab hook. And as Castano started taking it, Charlo's not used to the bully being bullied. So he had to be like, okay, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. And you can tell that's where he started to lag basically off of that's where he started to lag basically off of he was used to people feeling his power and them not wanting any more. And then the simple fact of the matter is that Castano felt his power, started walking to him and started hitting him. So now all of a sudden we hadn't seen him fight backwards for a while. We hadn't seen him have to really sit down, dig down, fight. And then as he adjusted, when he started adjusting, saying, okay, I can move around because he comes forward. If I move left, if I move right, if I move like this, it's going to knock off his balance. And then I'm hit him with this and hit him with that. Then you say, okay, he started to realize that he had to actually really box this fight, which was really good. As far as the draw, no, I don't have it a draw. I actually have uh I actually wanted Charlo to win, but I had Castano winning.
Yeah, man, definitely. It was an action packed fight, man. It was good, but I mean, I guess all the titles were on the line, so of course they were gonna come in with everything they had, man, and you can definitely tell they both trained their asses off for this. They were both hurt, but neither were dropped, and that just tells me that they had great conditioning and they had a great camp, and it was just action packed, man. And even though it was a draw, it was definitely entertaining the whole fight.
Did anything surprise you about the fight? Like, what stood out? Like, what really you take away from the fight? Like, key moments or just
I feel like just the only I feel maybe Charlo started a little bit started coming in attacking a little bit too late. I feel like he felt Castaño's power at the beginning, and that's like even though he had hurt him, maybe he got a little bit confident that he got hurt. He got hurt, and then I think that might have mentally just messed with them a little bit because Castano started winning the fight from there, and then towards the end, I believe from like the ninth or tenth, like 9, 10, and 11, I think were like straight Charlo rounds. Castano looked like he may have gassed out, or maybe he just had got hurt, or maybe it was just because Charlo started putting the pressure more, and I didn't think it was gonna take Charlo that long to start throwing punches. I knew Castano was gonna come in and throw a lot of punches. I thought he was gonna throw more. To be honest, he kind of pulled back a little bit, but he was making sure all of his punches that he did throw counted.
so what did you score it? Who do you feel came away the victor
Yeah.
or draw was good?
I had a 115, 113 Castano, but I mean, I can't be too upset with the draw because it was a close, tough fight.
What about rematch?
If they want to do it, I would love to watch a rematch. I feel like even now with the rematch, I feel like it would bring more hype and it would bring more views in. I don't know how it did yesterday, but I believe a rematch would have definitely helped them get more
Good
views.
fight, man. That was a damn good fight. I think I don't think fans really expected it to be as good as it was. You know what I mean? Like, of course, Charlo fight's always good. He's always exciting. He comes for the knockout. He comes for the win. But I still don't think anybody, you know what I mean, expected that. I said I don't think anybody expected that fight to go the way it did. I mean, and that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Like it was an amazing fight, bro. You know what I mean? Both fighters, my hat goes off to both of them, bro. They were dope.
Too. What do you think? Early in the fight, Castano got rocked, but then he showed composure, and he had this moments of success where he kind of stunned Charlo. And what do you think Castano did that kind of, gave him success? Because a lot of people didn't expect Castano to fight so well.
I did. I mean, at the end of the day, if you seen Castano fight, which nobody really knew about him much until he fought Laura, and even after that, people still didn't know much about him. But if you did your research and looked him up and looked anything on him, Castano still he was an Olympian. He was an Olympian. He's got a good amateur pedigree. I believe he was an Olympian. Yeah, he was an Olympian. He got a good amateur pedigree. You know what I mean? Like he's a good fighter, and he's a busy bee. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is he's short, he's stocky, he's strong, and he stays on your ass. And he's got a good boxing. He's got good boxing skills. You know what I mean? He's not the slickest. He's just very, very in your face. He's not slow, but he's not extremely fast. And I think we so used to seeing Charlo like fight good fighters and fight certain style fighters and just make them like Charlo takes good fighters, man. You can't even lie. Like he makes them look like they're not on his level at times. Even guys that are competitive, he's just so much stronger than everybody. He just ends up washing them away with his power. Castano was resilient, tough, and he had the kind of style to frustrate Charlo, and I think it kind of shocked Charlo to the point where it took him a while to finally adjust. But once he found his rhythm and his heart, and he not found his heart, but once he found his rhythm and dug deep and you know what I mean, really showed his heart. You know what I mean? Like he brought that fight back to a draw. A fight that he was losing, he made a draw, and that just showed just really how good he was. Because at the end of the day, I think Castano kind of backed off a little bit towards the end of it, but he ain't backed off for a reason. Charlo started cracking his ass, you know what I mean? And Charlo started getting more settled and more calm, realizing how to deal with the pressure, realizing like, yo, I can really deal with this pressure. Let me calm down. Let me listen to my corner. Let me not get so hyped and caught up in knocking him out. He got so hyped and caught up in how he knocks everybody out that he realized late he couldn't beat Castano like that. The rematch easy. I think that was Castano's only shot at beating Charlo. I think Charlo, like I said, adjusted late in the fight. When a fighter adjusts late in the fight like that means something clicks in their head where they realize they've been fighting this whole fight wrong. You get what I'm saying? They've been fighting wrong this whole time, and they get comfortable towards the end. When a fighter gets in that zone, a rematch is just easy for them after that.
First of all, great fight. Great fight. Like, man, I that was a really good fight. You know what I mean? And I didn't think it was not going to be a good fight, but I really enjoyed that fight. I really every round I enjoyed. I enjoyed every round of that fight. And and there was some rounds that was pretty obvious, and there was a lot, and there was some for Charlo, and there was some rounds that was obvious for Castano. The thing what people don't seem to really understand, there was a lot of rounds that was really really close where it was a judgment call who you want to give it around. Like I think a lot of people gave Castano rounds that he was able to steal at the end. For me, you could steal a round at the end, the last 20 seconds. But for me, you have to hurt him. If you don't hurt him, you didn't win the round. You won the last 20 seconds, the last 30 seconds. I'm not gonna forget about the first 2 minutes. And there was a lot of rounds where Jermell Cholo boxed really good the first 2 minutes, and he gave up the last 30 seconds. But there was rounds where he didn't get hurt. He just didn't finish it strong. So I'm not gonna give those rounds to Castano. Then there was rounds where he did get hurt, where Castano earned the right to say I stole that round. You know what I mean? So I could understand how some judges may have it 7-5, 9-3. I mean, that seemed like a judge that basically say I'm not going to give no rounds to Castano that he tried to steal in the last 30 seconds. But all three judges gave 10, 11, and 12 to Charlo. So basically, you telling me that from rounds 1 to 9, Jermell Charlo won 6 rounds. I don't know. You had to show me the 6 rounds he won. But I I had it. The first. I had the round six, 7. I'm sorry. Round 7, 8, and 9 was Castano, and I'm trying to think what was the rounds that was obvious for me. that Jermell Cholo, won the round that was obvious. A lot of those rounds, even round nine was it really could have went either way. You know what I mean? Like it really could have went either way. So if you judge the whole 3 rounds, I mean the whole 3 minutes of each round, there was rounds where Jermell boxed really well for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, gave up the last round, get the last 30 seconds. Some he gave it up, but he didn't get hurt, so I can give that to him. Some he did get hurt, so Castano stole the round. It was very hard fight to judge, but at the end of it, when I judged it round by round, I had it 114, 114. I think that fight is a draw. I think I think that fight deserves to be a draw. That's you can run it back if you want to run it back, but I have a different idea what I would like to see in the future. But if you want to run it back, run it back. But that first fight to me is a draw.
Man, that was a great fight, but at the same time, Charlo kind of, oh my god, he gave me an anxiety attack a couple of times. But I feel like Charlo could have stopped him if he would have just threw an uppercut or probably like threw a body shot because he didn't throw no body shots and he didn't. Well, he attempted to throw the uppercut, but Castano pretty much threw him off.
Before the fight, what were you thinking? Who were you kind of leaning towards?
Dr. Charlo about the late stoppage, but it was an awful night.